To me, privilege means...
I think privilege is
What privilege means to me...
an advantage that is handed to you, not an advantage that you necessarily earn or can help. It's just something you inherit or you're given.
As a straight white male, I obviously are able to be heard out more, and I'm able to say more. I'm able to be heard out.
A lot of people are given privilege based off of their race and their gender, and I think that's something that's wrong with America today.
It's what you're born into, and it's something that allows you to do things others can't do. So it's not anything that's given to you by right, it's just something that you're born into.
If your primary ethnic identity is American, take one step forward. If you are ever called names because of your race, class, ethnicity, gender, or sexual orientation, take one step back.
I think I'm extremely privileged.
In most aspects, like financially, I know I'm definitely privileged, and I'm privileged in having the ability to get a great education and live in a good home. But in other, like, I guess racial and gender aspects, I'm not as privileged.
I think I'm very privileged. I have, the advantage of living in a home where we're financially stable. We go to a great school. Gender-wise, women are being treated unequally, in pay all the time. So that's one of the deficits of privilege in general.
I think privilege affects me and others by determining what we can and can't do, and that's not really our decision. It's just something that society says we're just not going to let you do this, and we're not going to listen to you. So it's kind of like no matter what you do, you're kind of stuck.
Me personally, I guess not having privilege just kind of makes you have to work harder or have to prove yourself more than you would if you were privileged. And yeah, I think it's just inevitable.
I still think my place reflected my previous view because I thought I was going to be a lot further up than I was.
I think for the most part it did because I wasn't at the very back and I wasn't too close to the front, so I was closer to the back than to the front. But at the questions of whether or not I had food when I was little or if my parents encouraged me, those I took steps forward, and the only ones that I took steps backwards were kind of the racial and social issues.
My place didn't reflect my previous view. I thought I was privileged. I thought I had, all these things, but once you guys kept asking those questions, I realized how much, I didn't have.
I felt like I was extremely privileged, and I ended up towards the front. So.
We were all laughing and joking at the beginning because we were so close together and we weren't really sure what questions were about to be asked. So it was more lighthearted because we're like, oh, we're still holding hands, like we're friends. And then towards the end, there was like that uncomfortable silence because we were so spread out and so far apart. And you look around and you're like, you learn a lot about the people that you're friends with.
The questions kind of started sort of light and everyone was kind of the same. But then as the activity went on, the questions got more personal, and you, by stepping back or stepping forward, you were really exposing yourself.
You don't really think about your friends like not having the same you know, privileges as you. We think that you guys are like all equal, but it just shows that we're not at all.
Because especially now, in kind of everyday arguments or debates, if you have privilege, a lot of people kind of look at you and think that it was handed to you, when a lot of people do work really hard for what they get. So I guess there's two sides to it.
But as we kept going, the questions started to get harder and harder, and you know, it really just showed the difference that each of us have. Like, you know, we don't all have the same opportunities as one another.
And these people every day, I would expect them to take certain steps forward or certain steps back.
I was really surprised to see how many people were raised in a single parent household and how many people grew up kind of struggling for food. People who you see now and you think are having like a sustainable life, and maybe they are, but you didn't realize that previously they did.
So this activity to show how privilege, you can't always see how it's reflected on the outside, and it really doesn't affect who somebody is as a person, because just because someone took a step forward or a step back doesn't make them any less.
I think it's important to understand privilege because we need to understand that each of us have limitations, that each of us are that we're all equal, but there's still this underlying stereotypes that we are all not the same.
I think it's important to understand privilege and the importance of this, because a lot of people judge one another without really knowing their story. And so somebody who you could think, you know, has all this money and is living a really good life, they really can't be. And I think that's important for us to understand.
I was, because with normal stereotypes, you would think that the certain kind of people would be further back or further up than others, but it was really diverse, and it was really cool to see all the diversity.
It's important to understand privilege and the purpose of what we did, because even as the close-knit staff we are, I had no idea we were all so different, and we all come from different places. So kind of understanding the different privileges each individual has helps kind of ground you in the way you perceive another person, because though they might appear like they have much more privilege than you do, in some areas they might not have privileges in areas that you do.
When we broke hands, it was less of a, oh no, like I'm left behind, because by then like a lot of other people had broken their hands already. But by the time all the hands were broken, we were so scattered, it was really weird to see.
I wish I could tie you up in my shoes, make you feel I'm pretty too. I was told I was beautiful, but what does that mean to you? Look into the mirror.